In this book, we're going to look at the book of Haggai. Some people pronounce it Haggai, Haggai. I may go back and forth just through this video. Who knows? So let's jump in and answer our 8 questions. When we think about who wrote the book of Haggai, that would be Haggai himself, and he identifies himself in chapter 1, verse 1. When we think about who it was written to, it was written to the group of people that had returned from Babylonian captivity back to Jerusalem. When we think about how much time is covered, the text actually tells us this time. It was 4 months, and that starts off in chapter 1, in the 2nd year of King Darius the king, in the 6th month, on the 1st day of the month. And then in chapter 2, verse 10, it says on the 24th day of the 9th month, in the 2nd year of Darius the king. So that lets us know that 4 months passed during this book. When we think about the main idea, so the people have come back from Babylonian captivity, and they start building their own homes, their own houses. But they leave the temple of the Lord in shambles. And God is greatly displeased with this. So he sends Haggai to prophesy, to tell them to get busy. You need to build the temple of the Lord back. So they obey. When we think about notable characters within the book, it's God himself. And throughout this short book, he's referred to as the Lord of Hosts. When we think about notable events, chapter 1 focuses on the rebuilding of the physical temple, and then chapter 2 focuses on the future glory and building of the spiritual temple, which looks forward into the future to the church and the glory of that. So when we think about where on the timeline, this is going to be the return to Jerusalem. So remember, we said the Babylonian captivity only lasted 70 years. And then the people were given permission, if they wanted to come back. So it's during that time, the return to Jerusalem. When we think about Jesus in the book of Haggai, in chapter 2, like I said, it's all about the glory of the future kingdom, the future temple, which is the church, and then Jesus is the head of the church. We learned that in the New Testament. So when we think about why study the book of Haggai, it shows us that blessings follow when we obey, and sometimes it's not physical blessings. A lot of times it's not. It's spiritual blessings. It just shows what high esteem God thinks of the church, and then also it holds the temple of God in high esteem too. So it's a very short book. It's 2 chapters, but the chapters are very, very short. You could literally sit down and read it in just a few minutes. It's a little easier to understand than some of the other minor prophets we've looked at, but remember, you're still reading prophecy when you read it. So it's going to read maybe a tad different, especially chapter 2 is going to read different than chapter 1. Chapter 1 is a little more straightforward. So I hope this has been helpful to shed a little light on the book of Haggai. And we are really getting close to the end of the Old Testament. We only have 2 more minor prophets, and then this project will be completed with the Old Testament. So I hope it's helpful. I hope you're learning some things, and it's making your Bible study a little clearer. And I look forward to the next time when we're going to jump in and look at the next to the last book of the Old Testament.